A very beautiful Saturday morning to all of you. Good morning once again. My name is Mr. Pochilola, your teacher on Black Slides Online. Welcome both old and new students. I must express gratitude sincerely to all my students, both in the online class as well as those on YouTube. We are growing together. Remember that the goal of the online school, Black Slides, is to make sure as many candidates as possible get distinctions in their MSCE exams. That's the goal of this school. All right, so we offer once again all the sciences, namely physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, as well as additional mathematics. If you are also doing computer studies, you are welcome to Black Slides. If this is the first time you have just joined or visited the channel, the YouTube channel, Black Slides Online Secondary School YouTube channel, consider subscribing to the channel so that every time I upload a new video, you will become the first to know. My name once again is Mr. Pochilola. Welcome. I prepared this video lesson from a public demand by my Form 4 students, the online students, those who are currently learning online on the main classroom. They asked me if I can teach a Form 3 mathematics topic, which is called the quadratic expressions. So we meet in this lesson for a topic called the quadratic expressions. I'll give just a brief introduction. Then the lesson is going to continue in lesson 2. The topic is going to continue in lesson 2, 3, 4, and so on until we finish the entire topic. All right, so my Form 4 students currently in Form 4, this is the lesson that you asked for, but may I also call upon the current Form 3 students, whether you are learning on YouTube or you are in the main class. This lesson is going to introduce you to a topic called quadratic expressions, which will lead us to solving quadratic equations using graphical methods, using method of completing squares, using the method of factorization, and using the quadratic formula. So once again, you are all welcome. Like I always like to say, in order to unlock the understanding of any topic, it is important to define that topic. All right. So in order to unlock the understanding of any topic, it is important to define the topic. All right, so what are quadratic expressions? Okay, we would like to give a definition of quadratic expression. Remember, this lesson is simply introductory, introducing you to the broad topic called quadratic expressions, quadratic equations. All right. So in mathematics, and for the sake of this topic, we are going to define a quadratic expression in the following manner. A quadratic expression is any expression in mathematics which takes the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where A, B, and C are real numbers, and A is not equal to 0. So you're going to learn more about this in this topic, in this lesson. All right. So any expression of this form is called quadratic expression. All right, I'm sure you have met expressions like you've met expressions like 2x squared plus 3x minus 4. This is an example of a quadratic expression also. So in this case, our A is 2, and our B is minus 3, the whole of it, minus 3, while C is minus 4. So this is a quadratic expression. Another quadratic expression could be minus x squared plus 2x minus 4. All right, or let's say plus 4. This also is a quadratic expression. What you will notice in both of these expressions is that the highest power of the unknown, which is x, is a 2. So an expression in which the highest power is a 2 is called the quadratic expression. Although the word quad means 4, but in mathematics we still use quadratic to mean an expression in which the highest power is a 2. The highest power is a 2. An expression in which the highest power is a 2 is called the quadratic expression. Quadratic expression. Like the examples that I just gave. All or both of them are quadratic expressions. So we are saying for this expression to remain quadratic, A, B, and C are real numbers. Real numbers are numbers that can be positive. They can also be negative. You can have minus 5x squared plus maybe 1 plus 2x minus 3. So this is quadratic expression in which the numbers, the terms minus 5, minus 2, and minus 3 are real numbers. So the numbers can be positive, they can also be negative. But what you need to remember all the time is that the highest power of the expression or in the expression must be a 2. It must be a 2. And also notice that A should not be equal to 0. Okay, let's suppose you have 0x squared plus 2x minus 1. This is not a quadratic expression. Why not? Okay, because 0 multiplied by anything is equal to 0. So if you multiply 0 by x squared, it means the whole of this is going to collapse to 0. And you will remain with 2x minus 1, which is not quadratic by any means. Alright, so A should not be equal to 0. Otherwise, it will make x squared collapse to nothing. Alright, so that's the definition of the term quadratic expression. Of course, your examiners will not ask you to say, hello, hi, can you define quadratic expression on paper? No, they will not ask you to do that. We are just defining this so that you understand. We form a basis for your understanding of the topic. The principle of first mention states that in order to unlock the understanding of any topic, it is important to define that topic. Great. All right, so we have defined the quadratic expression successfully. All right, so let's identify quadratic expressions. If you see an expression, you should be able to tell whether the expression is quadratic or not. Remember that a quadratic expression is of the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are real numbers which can be positive or negative. All right, take note. And also take note the highest power of the unknown is a 2. So no matter how beautiful an expression may look, if it doesn't meet these criteria, then it is not a quadratic expression. For a quadratic expression to be a quadratic expression, it must have, x must have a power, the highest power of 2. And that a, the term here, should not be equal to 0. All others can be zeros. These can be zeros, but a should never be equal to 0. For example, you can have 2x squared. Yeah, this is can have, all right. Sorry about that. My lesson collapsed. My screen got frozen. All right. So welcome back. Welcome back. These things of technology can happen. Can happen anytime, even when you are in the middle of teaching. It can also happen to you while you are in the middle of learning. All right, so we understand. All right, so we just defined the quadratic expression, and would like to move on to the next aspect of quadratic expressions, which is identifying them. So I was about to say that before my screen crashed. I was just saying that, about to say that you can tell an expression whether it's a quadratic or not quadratic based on two criteria, namely, the expression must be of the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. All right, so that's very good. Where a, b, and c are all real numbers which can be positive or negative, and that a should never be equal to 0, otherwise the expression will collapse to nothing, and also the highest power should be 2. All right, so according to you, which of the following expressions are quadratic? Quadratic. All right, so let's identify quadratic expressions together, starting with this one here, the first one. X squared plus 2x plus 1. Do you think this is quadratic or not quadratic? All right, what do you think? Is it quadratic or not quadratic? Let's see, does it have integers? Yes, there's an x, a 1 there, 1x squared. There's a 2 here, and there's a 1. So in this case, it means a is simply, all right. Okay, so we are saying in this case a is equal to 1. There's a 1 here, although not shown. And b is equal to 2. Well, c is equal to 1, yes, which are all real numbers. And the highest power is a 2. All right, so therefore what do you say? In this case, it means that this is quadratic. So the first one is quadratic. What about this one here? Here, the highest power is a 3. Therefore, it is not quadratic. This is not quadratic. All right, remember, for an expression to be quadratic, the highest power should be a 2, not a any other number, not 1, not 3, not 4, not 5. It should be a 2. The next one, the highest power is a 2, yes, therefore it is quadratic. It's quadratic, eh? Yeah, it's quadratic. What about here? We have the highest power being 2. It is also quadratic. It's quadratic. So in a quadratic expression, the highest power should be a 2. What about this one here? The power here is 1. The power here is 1. Alright, so the highest power here, therefore, is 1. And for a quadratic expression, for an expression to be quadratic, the highest power must be 2. So this, therefore, is not quadratic. What about this one here, the last one? The highest power is 4. The highest power is 4, therefore it's not quadratic. An expression in which the highest power is 4 is called quatic. It's called quatic expression. It's called quatic expression. Alright, a quadratic expression. In a quadratic expression, the highest power is supposed to be a 2. Alright, so that's it. We've defined the quadratic expression, and we have identified which one of these is or are quadratic expressions or not. Alright, that's it. That's beautiful. Alright, so welcome once again to the platform. This is where you learn all the sciences to prepare you for your MSCE exams. Alright, related to quadratic expressions is another process called factorization. Factorization, alright? Factorization. So what is factorization, if I may ask you? What is factorization? What is factorization? What do we mean by factorization? Well, suppose a question asks you to factorize an expression, okay, or a number. We shall use the following definition to define factorization. In mathematics, factorization is the decomposing. Oh, decomposing has come back. I think we made decomposing yesterday when we were trying to define radioactive decay yesterday. Alright, so in mathematics, factorization is the decomposing of a number, breaking down a number. Factorization is the decomposing of a number, not decomposing a bottle or decomposing a rotten fruit, no, but a number, factorization, or an expression into a product of other numbers or factors, which when multiplied together, when those factors are multiplied together, will give you original number or expressions. Alright, I'll give you an example. A number such as 15 can be factorized as 3 multiplied by 5. So in this case, 3 and 5 are factors of 15. So what we just did is to factorize 15 into 3 and 5. Don't forget to include the multiplication sign there to show that you can get back the number 15 by multiplying 3 and 5. Alright, another usual one, another expression, another example of factorization is when you have x, y plus 3x. All right. If you look at this expression, there's an x here, there's also an x here. So this is the same as removing the x, taking it out. We have x, then open bracket, then y plus 3. Therefore, we have also factorized the expression xy plus 3x into x times y plus 3. So if we remove brackets, if you multiply this x by y and this x by 3, we'll get back to this expression. That's factorization. All right, okay, let's have another example. Let's suppose we have y squared minus 9. All right. Y squared minus 9 is the same as y plus 3 and y minus 3. All right, so these are the factors of this expression. We have factorized it. Okay. And many other examples we could have looked at if we had all the time on earth. Great. So, for example, the number 20 can be factorized as 4 times 5 or 2 times 10. So we are saying the number 20 is the same as 4 multiply 5 or 2 multiply 10. Why? Because 4 times 5 is 20. 2 times 10 is also 20. So these are factors of 20. 4 times 5 are factors of 20. 2 times 10 are also factors of 20. All right. Another example such as this one here, x squared minus 4, can be factorized into, so we have x squared minus 4 can be factorized as x plus 2 and x minus 2. All right, so these are also factors. So these two terms are factors of x squared minus 4. So in both of these examples, a product of simpler numbers or expressions is obtained. For example, we are saying x squared minus 4 is just the same as x plus 2 and the x minus 2. So if you multiply x by x, we shall get back this one, and the 2 by 2, we shall get back to minus 4. Minus 4. All right, so that's what we are saying. I hope so far so good on your side. Welcome once again to the lesson, and in particular to this channel where you are watching this video. It is called Black Slides Online Secondary School. It's just a YouTube channel, right? As long as you are watching here, you are learning just for free. But you get better services if you enroll for a paid class, which is called Black Slides Online class. There you pay a small amount of fees, as low as 18,500 per term, not per month, but per term. Once you pay that, you have full access to the notes, to the books, and to all sorts of materials. All right. Once again, you are most welcome. Okay. So consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, lastly, let's discuss quadratic expressions, types of quadratic expressions. Quadratic expressions are of 3 main types. Of course, you can go up to 4 or 5. It just depends on the highest power of x, of the unknown in such an expression. So the first type of quadratic expressions is called the monomial quadratic expression. All right, so a monomial is simply an expression in algebra or in mathematics which contains one term, mono. Mono, the word mono means one. So such an expression has one term. Nomial, the word nomial means term. Term, Okay, so monomial means one term. So an expression having one term is called a monomial. It's a quadratic monomial expression has one term only. So examples of quadratic monomials include x squared. That's just one term raised to the power 2. That's a monomial. Another one is 2x squared. Okay, mind you, these are not connected by either positive or minus signs. No, it's just one single term. Another one is half x squared. Another one is 5x squared. You have many more that you can think about. Think about 5 more examples of quadratic monomials and let me have them. Let me have a look at your examples. It is going to gladden my heart to see that you are able to identify some of these terms. All right, so that's monomials. Another type of quadratic expressions is what is called consider liking this video, subscribing and hitting the notification bell, all right, so that you don't miss on any videos that I upload in future. All right, another one is called binomial, quadratic binomial expressions. All right, a binomial is an expression in algebra which contains two terms. Bi means two. The term bi means two. So you have two terms. Bi means two. Nomials is terms. All right, so a binomial is an expression in algebra which contains two terms. Bi means two. So a quadratic binomial, this should be binomial. Please check that this is supposed to be monomial. I mean binomial, not monomial again. We have already looked at monomials before. All right, so a quadratic binomial expression has two terms in it. Examples of binomial expressions include these ones here. X squared, this should be x squared plus 2x. So we have this term conjoined to this one by a positive sign. Another one is this one here, 2x squared plus 3. So there are two terms. We have one and two terms. Therefore, it's binomial. And then we have 5x squared plus 7. This too is a binomial expression. All right. You're going to think about other expressions that are binomial in nature. All right. So far, so good. Welcome to Black Slides one more time. You're the reason why I'm here. I'm here because of you. All right, so quadratic trinomial. Tri means 3. The expression or the prefix tri or tri means 3. Monomial. Tri means 3. Nomial means terms. So a trinomial, therefore, is an algebraic expression with 3 terms. 3 terms. And we just mentioned tri means 3. A quadratic trinomial has 3 terms in it. And these are some examples. So here we have d squared plus d 7d plus 10. So we have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3 terms. Therefore, it's a trinomial. Same here, we have x squared plus 11x plus 10. That also is a trinomial. C squared plus 8c plus 15. This is also a trinomial. Why? Because it contains three terms joined together. We have x squared plus 5x plus 6. F squared plus 7f plus 3 is another trinomial, and so on. We have another one here, g squared plus 10g minus 24. That's also another example of a trinomial. So trinomials have three terms which are joined together by either plus or minus sign. All right, so thank you very much. It has been a pleasure introducing this topic, and we meet again in the next lesson, in which we are going to expand more on the topic called quadratic expressions. Remember, this lesson is going to join or to connect to what are called quadratic equations, which are solved in numerous ways. So don't forget to enroll into Black Slides Online classes if you have not done so already, by simply reaching out to me on the number that I've shared here. You can reach out to me on this number, or optionally you can also reach me on 088-434-1022. All right, wishing a beautiful Saturday afternoon, expecting to see you again in the nearest future. My name once again is Mr. Paul Chilola. Bye-bye for now.